Sorry, Katina.
It's okay.
You just said you to run. No, he's not looking at the stage, is he? That's it. That's bang in the middle. Madam? Yeah, madam's there. Do you know how to record? He's recording. I'll do it as well.
Kinloch Burby. That's where the baby's buried. 2 miles south of the village. In a road, on the left-hand side on a field as you go north. It's a very small town and very remote. Very far up north in Scotland. Even the Scottish don't really go there. And we just happened to be there. And we were never there again. It rained the whole entire time that we were there. Every single day, that whole week. Although, I'm sure it's a beautiful place when the weather is nice. Anyway, that's where the baby's buried. In Kinloch Burby, in Sutherland, the northwest part of Scotland. And Frank made a wooden cross and painted it white, and he wrote across it, "Infant child of Frank and Grace Hardy." No name or anything, of course, because, well, it was stillborn. So just infant child. I don't think the cross would be there anymore. It was just a small, fragile little thing. I had the baby in the back of the van, you know. There were no doctors or nurses or anything. It was just Frank, Teddy and me. So there's no record of it of any kind. And he never once said anything about it after that. He never mentioned it. And because he didn't, well, neither did I. So that was it. A finished thing. Over and done with. Yes. I do like that name though, Kinloch Burby. It's like a complete sound. It's not a name you would easily forget. Oh, he had such a talent for hurting. And he'd humiliate me so. You see, we weren't married then. I was his mistress. Always that. That one constant. "Have you met Gracie?" he'd say. "She's my mistress." Knowing full well that would hurt me, and it would always hurt me. It shouldn't have, but it did. I left him once, you know. Yeah, I left him. I don't know. It was in the deepest, darkest, most horrible part of Norfolk, and it was in the dead of winter, And I was cold and I hadn't had anything to eat and the mattress was soaking wet, and in a fit of rage or sadness or something, I tore off the back of the calendar and I ripped a page and I wrote him a letter and I wrote, "Dear Frank, I am leaving you. I cannot tolerate the deprived state of our lives any longer. I will always love you. Do not follow me." The innocence of it. "I will always love you. Do not follow me," as if he would. And then I went back home. And I saw him there, sitting in that chair, with his white hair and his bushy white eyebrows, looking at me with those judgmental eyes, as if I was in court, as always. And for a moment, I wanted to shame him. I wanted to tell him everything that he'd ever done to me. I wanted to shout and to scream at him and say really horrible, horrible things. But I didn't. I kept quiet. I kept silent. And that was the last time I saw Father. And then I was back there again, on that cold, wet mattress, kissing Frank's shoulder and his face. And he was looking at me, smiling, drunk, as he always was. And I felt pregnant. And I kept it this time. I kept it the whole term. I kept it this time. And that was the blackened face of the baby that's buried in Kinloch, Burby, in Sutherland, in the northwest part of Scotland. It's not a name I would easily forget. And I never went back there again.
Some kind of fucking slave.
You fuck off, Vic! Why should I leave all this stuff behind for anyway? This stuff is my life.
Your life? Have I got something wrong here? Does that mean that Mark and Michael are your life too? Because I thought I was your life.
Yeah. And I thought that too.
And what's that supposed to mean?
Nothing.
Look, Alex, we're nearly there. We're nearly home free. You just got to keep calm.
I am perfectly calm. I love you, Vic. And I always have.
Yeah? Well, I bet you weren't thinking about that when you were fucking Mark. And Michael, what about all those other lads?
What has gotten into you?
We've really fucked up this time, that's what.
We haven't fucked up, Vic. We got a result.
What? A lousy 1.2 million quid. Half a year of our lives wasted for that.
Neither of us could have foreseen what was going to happen. The crash.
Yeah? Well, you could have handled it differently. You could have got Michael out. You could have gone to the wedding, then we'd have half his money and his partner's.
Yes, but that could have taken months, Vic. Maybe years. They had a problem with the development company or something. So as it is, we got a quick result. We got it fast. And if you hadn't have gambled half of our money away, we wouldn't even be in this situation.
Oh, whatever. Just get in the car. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
You don't know how hard this has been for me, do you? What we do? Well, I'm sat on the sideline, and you're fucking Mark, and Michael, and all those other lads. What about Jordan? And Steve? And Frank? What has gotten into you? Nothing. Just get in the car. There's one more thing I've got to do.
Vic,
What?
why don't you just leave him?
Leave him?
Well, yeah. He can't talk. He's not going to get out. You said no one will find him. So what's the point?
It'll take me 10 seconds just to crush his neck.
Yeah, but what's the point? He's going to die anyway.
Oh, you are a sweet bitch on him, aren't you? What's so special about Marky, anyway? You didn't have a problem with me killing any of the others.
I'm not sweet on him at all. I just think, well, I think you're just wasting your time.
Yeah. I guess you're right. Let's just leave him to die, all on his own, in the dark. Hungry and thirsty and starving.
Exactly. So, no problem then. Did you pick up today's newspapers?
No, I've got all the yesterdays. I've been cleaning out the apartment. We'll get the new ones at the airport. And once we're there, and we'll be gone. No worries, right?
So here we go. I don't really know what to say. I mean, I know what I'm supposed to say, something like, surprise! Timmy comes in and say what we want him to say. Seems fair. It's like playing Pluto. Mrs. Peacock did it in the conservatory with the lead piping. What's really nice about that game is that you get through it by process of elimination. But actually, what miss is a motive, a reason. Why? And I don't know why. They made me act it out. I mean, you think how it was, how he felt. What she screamed like when she couldn't find him. If I've got an imagination, at least they made me use it till I sweat and use it for the right things now. Actually, doing it was nothing. It was interesting, I guess.
It's like when a toy stopped going, stopped moving, stopped making noise. It's just broken. And I took the battery. It's not what I said. I put it in his mouth, that's where I put it. But it wasn't dirty. It was just... That's when she was wandering around, screaming why we were doing that. And I know how it must have sounded like, looked like. Terrible. She wasn't beautiful the way a man should be. And I drew her there. I ruined her. We were both paying for the same 5 minutes. Me for what I did, I don't know why. You've got to believe me, I don't know why. Honest.
Always search a Byron boy at first. You never know what you might find. A Byron boy comes with 3 things. A cloak, and a dagger, and his own teeth. He comes fully equipped. He doesn't need nothing. And when he dies, he lies in the ground like a lump of granite. He don't rot. There's Byron boys buried all over this land, fresh as the day they was planted. And them clocks, with the teeth sharp, fingernails sharp, and the 2 black eyes staring out, sharp as spears. You get close, and stare into them 2 black eyes. What's that? In there, there's written old words that will shake you down. So there you have it. I am a young man, conceived in separate postal zones, born one day early, and I've been a day ahead of all you beggars ever since. Friends, outcasts, leeches, undesirables. A blessing on you and upon this beggar's banquet. This day, we draw a line in the chalk and push back hard against that bastard, pitiless busybody council and drive them from this place forever! I, Rooster Byron, your merciless ruler, hereby decree that today all my bounty is bestowed upon you, Grags. That will be free, booze, bangers, whiz, draw, and whatnot, for all the minions of my kingdom. Before I begin, I want to say a few words about one here who is leaving us. A son of this vale, born of this soil. He's lived a fair score year among us, and tomorrow he sets sail on a voyage to the far side of the world. Although we know he'll go broke inside a week, find nothing but savages, end up selling his bum round Botany Bay. He goes to his doom without blessing. Lee Piper, you're a pisshead and a wizard, and you don't pay your way. And you're only one of these buggers I trust with a lit match. So here is your blessing. If I could wish for anything, but to be a bit happy. As if I were too and love and sorrow. He loved her. It was only later that he found out she was a Jewish. He forced her to convert. But then, when Hitler came to power, that wasn't enough. He found himself trapped between his love and his hatred, but he didn't turn her in. That wasn't his style. But instead, he chose to start a new life, new city, new name, new papers. Everything is new. Except for his wife. From that day on, he lived in fear of his life, and he made her pay for that fear with 1,001 humiliations. I hated her. I hated everything about her. Because she allowed herself to be a pitiful, groveling nothing. I watched her change from a proud and beautiful woman into a groveling nothing. One day, he beat her very badly. He broke her arm. That night, she took me aside, told me she was going to stay with her relatives in Berlin. She kissed me. I wiped my cheek. I heard my father crying. I went into him. He didn't want me there. I persisted, but he slapped my face. I knew then I too had to go. A year later, I was in SS. Oh my God. He was my father who made me hate my mother, who made me hate myself. With so much hate inside me, I want to kill and rid myself once and all of this pitiful shadow. Oh my God. Oh my God. He kissed me. She kissed me and I wiped my cheek.
And I don't know why I'm surprised. You don't even notice. You never notice. You think it's normal. Everywhere I go, I'm alone in this sea of white. I barely know any black folk anymore, Howie. My whole life is white. I don't see any black folk unless they be cleaning under my feet in the fucking cafe in your fucking college. Or pushing a fucking hospital bed down a corridor. I staked my whole life on you. And I have no idea anymore why I did that. I don't understand you. You're not making any sense to me. You're hysterical now. Could you have found anyone less like me if you'd scoured the earth? My legs that woman? What have you made me look like in front of everybody in this town? You married a big black bitch and you run off with a fucking leprechaun? I didn't. What? I can't hear you. What? Nothing. I'm not allowed to say it. Say it. All I said was, well, I married a slim black woman, actually. Not that it's relevant. Holy shit! You want to sue me for breach of contract, Howard? Product expanded without warning? Don't be ridiculous. It's nothing as trite as that. I don't want to get into all that. There's a million factors, clearly. This is not the reason people have affairs. And I don't want to have the conversation on this level. I really don't. It's puerile. It's beneath you. It's beneath me. There you go again. Howard, you should talk to your cock so the two of you will sing from the same hymn book. Your cock is beneath you. Literally. Look, I'm trying to be as honest as I can. If you're asking me, physicality is a factor. You've changed a lot. I don't care, but... And I've always loved you. But it's true that men... It doesn't end for them, this concern with beauty as a physical actuality in the world. And that's imprisoning, and it infantilizes, but it's true, and I don't know how else to explain. Get away from me. What? You think there's some kind of philosophical, I don't fucking know what, because you can't keep your dick in your pants? You're not Rembrandt, Howard. And don't kid yourself. Honey, I look at boys all the time. All the time. I see pretty boys every day of the week, and I think about their cocks and what they would look like, but naked. You're being really vulgar now. But I'm an adult, Howard, and I've chosen my life. I thought you had too.
Chest all morning. Nicht wahr, Frau Karpf? Ich habe geweiht auf dein Brust. Would you rather have coffee, Chris, or tea? You can have either. Only I don't recommend the tea much. I don't know what Frau Karpf does to it. I think she just bungs all the kitchen slops into a jug and boils them up with tea leaves. I'll have coffee then. Frau Karpf, willst du sein ein Angel and bring, zwei Tassen von coffee? Miss Darling, be an angel, draw the curtain. Would you like a prairie oyster? I practically live on them. They're about all I can afford. What are you laughing at, Chris? I don't know. Chris, you swine, do tell me what you're laughing at. I really haven't the faintest idea. Oh, you are mad, you know. Sally, how long have you been here? Well, ever since I arrived in Berlin. Let me see. That must have been about 2 months ago. I'd come with a girlfriend, older than me, an actress. She said we'd certainly be able to get work with the UFA. So I borrowed £10 from a nice old gentleman and came and joined her. I wish you'd met Diana. She was the most marvellous gold digger you can imagine. She'd get men anywhere. It didn't matter whether she could speak their language or not. She made one practically die of laughing. Well, we'd been here 3 weeks and no job had appeared, so she went off to Paris with some bank she'd met. I left you here alone. I must say, that's most dreadfully rotten of her. Well, I suppose I would have done the same had I been in her position. I bet you wouldn't. Oh, anyway, I'm all right. Oh, Frau Karp, wie wunderbar von Dick. Sally, what makes you stay here? It's awful. I mean, I'm sure you could afford a much nicer place. Well, I don't doubt I could. Why don't you look for one then? I don't know, I'm lazy, I suppose. Well, how much do you pay for this a month? About 80 marks. With breakfast included. Oh, I don't know. I just throw the old girl money whenever I've got some, you know. I can't reckon it all up altogether. But good God, I mean, I only pay 50 for mine, and that's with breakfast included, and it's so much nicer than this. Yes, well, what would Frau Karp do if I were to leave her? I mean, she'd get no other lodgers. I mean, nobody else could stand her face or her smell or anything else. I mean, and another thing, if she loses me, they'll throw her out. I mean, she'll have no income, and if they do that, she says she'll practically kill herself. But Sally, I really don't think it's fair that you're sacrificing yourself. Oh, I'm not sacrificing myself, really. I mean, she's practically what I'll be in 30 years. We get on with each other, you know. How do you like the coffee? I like it a damn sight better than I do Fritz's. Oh, I simply adore Fritz. Isn't he marvellous? I simply adore the way he says, I give a damn. Oh, I give a damn. Yes, did you think me and Fritz had slept together? Well, I don't know, I suppose you must have done. Well, we haven't. And now I don't suppose we ever shall.
Sit up, Anna. And now spread your legs. That's nice. What's the safe word, Anna? Tell me the safe word.